Good morning, everyone. I'm going to try to make this short and simple. This is going to be the Gorilla Grip installation for the Mako spear. I have this spear. I'm about to go on a lionfish hunting trip and decided I want to add a little extra grip to this. They sell the kits online for fairly cheap. What it is, you get industrial heat shrink, these little O-rings, and that's it in the bag. Looking online, there's several pictures, did not find any videos. I contacted Mako. They were able to just tell you the process, but figured I'd just throw this together in case somebody else knows. Now I'm doing this as we go, and I'm not really sure how it's gonna go. I have the heat gun that they sell on the website. I previously purchased it from another little place for a different project. So what I'm gonna do now is, I have this set up for lionfish, which it is a 3-part travel spear. However, I have it rigged down so that it's just a short, small lionfish size. This is where I like my grip set when I hunt, so that's where I'm actually going to put the grip. Anything past that, and I don't use it, anything behind that, I don't want my glove to get cut off during deployment of the spear. So what I did was, before I started this video, I slid the heat shrink on, grabbed it, lined it up, and I made 2 little scratches in between where I want it to be. In this kit you have a 12-inch section of heat shrink. I did cut it in half when I was measuring the grip, because with the rings you have enough to do 2 grips or 1 large grip, either 2 6-inch grips with 6 rings or 1 12-inch grip with the 12 rings, and the heat shrink is supposed to reduce down around it with a low heat. So let's break this down real quick. I'm going to take the tip off, the middle section off, and just get it down to the spear, line the O-rings up, and go from there. Alrighty, removing the spear tip. I got my heat gun over there. I have it on low setting, warming up just so that it's ready to go. I read a couple of reviews where some person said they wish they would have done it lower and slower, and some people say hotter and faster. I'm going to try lower and slower, and if it wraps and starts shrinking appropriately, we'll just go with that. If not, I'll turn it up to the higher setting, because you can always add more. You just can't take away once you start. Alright, broke the spear down. I now have this piece right here, which is my forward grip on what I'm going to use to place that grip. Like I said, I'm doing 1 6-inch grip on this because it is a 3-part spear, and if I add another section, I can just put that second grip on that middle section and it worked perfectly. So that's what I'm going to do there. Before I said I had those 2 lines marked out where I want them, so I'm going to start with these little O-rings. They are very tight fitting, so that's good to know. And I'm shooting from the hip here because there's 2 of them. Let me set that piece down. I'm going to get more O-rings out here. I've got 1. 6 there, saving those other ones. So let's roll that little guy. As you can see, just rolling that guy down to that further distant mark that I put on there. Theoretically, measuring this out here in a minute, I'll take a look at it. If it's a 6-inch spear, I can put the rings 1 inch apart, and you know, it should make a pretty even grip. That being said, I need it to be effective, not symmetrical. So for those of you at home, if that's what you want, by all means. For me, I'm just gonna wing it. In the end, one thing they did say at the shop when I called them is that it's real easy to take off if need be. This is a very cost-effective grip, and right now I've got a backup one if I have to redo this. So let's just see how it works out. There's the top grip. I'm just eyeballing these and spacing them somewhat. I have it 1 inch below the neck of the grip there where I made that mark. I made the mark right here. First one I have down just a little bit in the middle. That's the bottom. I want them a little bit up from the mark so at least the heat shrink can seal around them. As I'm gripping this, I see these 5 are good and that one doesn't really touch, so I'm going to try to bring them all up together a little bit more so maybe that grip becomes a little more effective. Again, I am no expert, and shoot, that looks like it'll about work. I mean, I'll put those three like that. Those three, there's a little bit larger gap here, but I don't know, it feels nice. I put the heat shrink over. There's my mark where I wanted, and well, can't really tell, but there's actually maybe a little few ribs you can see, but that's with the heat shrink over it. Now they give you this piece of twine in case you need to at the neck, wrap it around the heat shrink and form that extra seal. Not really going to do that right now. I don't see a need for it, so I'm going to move down here where I have the gun going. I've got a little bit of lip in my concrete here, and so that's what I'm going to use to roll this as I heat it, so hopefully it works out. Give me just a minute. Alright, without getting my phone melted, I have the heat gun on low setting. I'm just going to roll and apply heat gently, ever so slightly, starting at the ridges. Like I said, I have no clue right now. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip. I can tell if I sit still in one spot that it is shrinking down a little bit, so it's reacting to the heat pretty well. I'm actually surprised by this. I'm trying to keep it rolled just so it's shrinking down evenly. I don't know if you can tell in the video if it is or not, but I am on that low heat, and if I sit still long enough, it is very much shrinking down. So I'm trying to be nice, slow, and effective with it. And of course, heat evenly. So right now I got it probably maybe an inch or two over the top of the rings. Just slowly rolling, slowly heating. Ooh, okay. Little bubble there that did pop. I guess there was some trapped air in there. Did not realize that was going to happen, but I guess as we do this, who knows, but it is reducing down. I'm pleasantly surprised by this. Alright, so as it heats up and it shrinks down, if there's a trap pocket of air, you do get a little bubble and a snap almost. And that's what I'm seeing in each one of these rings in between. So I don't know if I should have maybe poked a small hole or tried to work the air out, but as I do it, like I said, it gets a little bubble. Nope, there went that one. And it pops. Now if you keep the heat right on that hole, it seems like it starts to melt away, almost. That little hole is kind of open right there. Again, not real sure, but given that this is my spear, I'd like to make sure that that grip is effective. So that being said, I look like I've reached one of the points where it's just reduced down enough. I'm going to kick up the speed here just a little bit. Maybe increase the heat, see if I can't get it to just cool down a little bit more. It is warm. And as you can see, everywhere there's a little spot where that air bubble came out. There's several little spots around here that kind of where they opened up. You can maybe see them possibly. The rest of the spear, it's warm to the touch. The heat shrink's good. The grip's there. As this cools down, it should really be effective. So hopefully when I put this together, like I said, there's those little holes. I don't know if they're gonna trap water. I don't know if, I just don't know. But I can tell you right now, starting out, for being a few dollar, under $10 investment, I forget what I paid for this. It's on the Mako website. It's I think $6.95 or something. Already out the gate for what I paid, how easy it really reduced down. I'm not disappointed. It's like I said, as it cools down, I'll put this back together and get a grip, see how it feels with the glove, and yeah, it feels as it cools down. It's there's not too much play in the plastic. It feels like it's actually a pretty decent grip on there. Surprisingly easy. I just, given those little air bubbles popping, you know, maybe on the website they could have said poke a small hole with a needle for it, a place to escape. I don't know if you're supposed to, I don't know. But let me put this back together, let it finish cooling down, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm going to see what this feels like with my glove. We got the spear back together. For a lot of you out there, I know there are professional gloves that people use. I use a latex coated glove because as they wear out, I can go to a local hardware store and replace them for a couple dollars. I mean, I'm a fisherman on a budget. Many of you may have an unlimited budget, but I feel most of you are like me, and if it works, why change it? So, I can tell you right now, as I do this, already I can feel that it is, I'm holding that with 3 fingers, and I can move it up and down. That grip is set. I'm not noticing the heat shrink slide or anything like that. It feels pretty good. So, man, I like it. I like it. It is just far enough, it grabs, it holds. I can tell it's going to be pretty easy because that's just a good reference point to reset. I may have put it up just a tiny bit too far as a precaution, because normally if I reload, I'm going to grab right here and reload, but I don't know, I can split it. It's fairly easy, so just on a quick dry fire, it seems to be working fairly well. Cheers, if you have any questions, I may not be able to give you a professional answer because I'm doing it just like you. Go ahead and comment below if you have any ideas, tips, tricks. Maybe you've done this and found an easier way. Maybe you've done it more than once. Like I said, I tried looking on YouTube and finding a video that talked about how to do this process. I didn't see one, so I figured, why not? Thanks, everybody. Cheers.